Oh, the thumbnail is perfect for today's video as we get into this one with the most bullish chart, or at least the chart that is continuing to be bullish here. Not looking at Dixie nor traditional markets in this particular video, although that has been certainly the more easy analysis that we've been having on this channel for the past couple weeks now, but a bit of a different look on this one as we do check in on Bitcoin dominance and of course Bitcoin as well. Anyways, other than that, I want to welcome you back to the Krown Crypto channel. It is a nice little Wednesday morning and I got it right on the first try, baby, so you know it's a good one. And we can just get right into the chart view right on over here. So first things first for Bitcoin, let's just put it on the daily for the HBDR indicator. And in this case, yes, it is kind of resting on a pretty precarious place, right at the average of the current range, just below 27,000 bucks, as you can see right here. To me, yeah, it does look like things probably do come down actually in this case. The reason why I say that is because if Bitcoin really was going to take off to the upside, it very likely would have happened yesterday. Tuesday, as we have gone over with statistics, is the most, bullishly imposed day, and well, Bitcoin basically did fuck all. It actually went a little bit to the downside, to be fair. So ultimately, I would be looking for Bitcoin, generally speaking, to probably play out a little bit of sideways and downside. Can I be wrong about that? Yeah, absolutely. That's an opinion. Opinion is not a plan. And in this case, as far as the daily goes, showing again just below 27,000 bucks as that big pivot. If Bitcoin starts to close below there, then yes, indeed, that opinion does become a bit of a plan, and Bitcoin very likely comes down at least to low 26s, maybe even upper 25s. But at that point, I actually would still be looking at this area right here as a nice base for Bitcoin. That is to say, I'm not bearish on Bitcoin, especially on the higher term timeframes. Especially as long as it's above the September lows, but even above, let's say like mid 25s on a closing basis on a higher term time frame, hard to be bearish on that. Anyways, yeah, so we've gone through that. Same thing for the for the top side of the current range, by the way, as well. Still the high of, I believe it was last week, the 2nd of October. All right, sweet. So now that we've gone through that, let's get into the fun stuff of the day. Let's get into, well, a chart that we haven't visited for a little bit of time now. That is going to be the Bitcoin dominance chart right here. And in this case, we were looking at, not last week, but this was like a month ago. Yeah, I think the last time we spoke about it was about a month ago, where I did say that there's potential for a major reversal here. That obviously did not happen. In this case, we were looking for a closure below a very specific level, which I forget exactly at this moment, but it was not met, thus not validated. And if it's not validated, then the prior analysis of continuation is still very much valid. So first things first, in the more near term for Dixie, is there a bit of a pullback expected? Probably, yeah. It just hit over here at the white 200 moving average on the not on the daily, but on the weekly, an even more powerful time frame. And of course, on the daily, we are seeing a little bit of a pullback based off of the breakdown that we did see from July of this year right here. I'm actually just gonna mark off this area with this nice little rectangle. There we go. Jesus Christ, man, are these LARP lines playing out again? Well, kind of close there. Doesn't need to be exact, but anyways, we'll get rid of them right now because that is not necessarily what I expect to kind of be happening right here. While I do expect a bit of a pullback, this one probably does continue to the upside in October. Very, very likely. Anyways, let me reference my notes really, really quickly. Yes, okay, we got that. Now let's go over here into the higher term timeframes, and we can see that the monthly, if I can actually load it, yeah, is still looking like the 55 exponential average is going to be the next sort of area of interest, obviously relevant for the higher term timeframes. This is going to be combined with a look at stochastic momentum, and then we can get into some more statistics. But as far as stochastic momentum goes, the weekly time frame freshly up, we're rejecting the bearish control zone, as long as this one's above 50%. So what I can say about this one is that basically 50% is not just a psychological number, but also a basing number as well, meaning that as long as Bitcoin dominance is above 50%, risk remains the upside, meaning that, well, more likely to move to the upside than the downside in this case. And that only becomes more and more evident the higher term time frame that we go. The bi-weekly time frame is actually also going to be back onto the upside in the bullish control zone, assuming that it just does remain above 51%, which it is above right now. And the monthly is also going to be potentially crossing the upside yet again above 51.22. So it does look, pretty, what's it called? extreme here, and that leads me to my next point. While I do think that this one does continue, I'm actually going to revise my bullishness on it compared to especially a lot of other people out there. Before, I was saying that Bitcoin dominance likely makes a move up into the deep 50s, maybe even low 60s. I think that that's going to be wrong now. I think that the green 55 exponential average right here is going to be that obvious area of interest, which is kind of hovering around like mid 53.5%. So I do think that there's another move up. I don't think that there's a humongous move up, actually. I do think that, it's probably going to be contained at that region, at least a pullback. And as of right now, actually, I'm leaning towards a reversal. If we go over here to the quarterly time frame, again, we kind of see the same thing with the yellow 21 exponential average, a little bit higher there, so it can give us a bit of a zone. So let's say the monthly look, which was 53.5%, and this one at about 55.25, probably gives us a zone as to where I would be expecting a bit of a rejection on this one, or at least a potential rejection on this one. Anyways, okay, we've gone through that. Oh, I did forget to go over this here. My bad. Bi-monthly time frame remains with upside momentum as long as Bitcoin dominance is above, basically 40%. It's looking quite likely. And then, of course, we go to the quarterly. I'm actually curious what this one does say. Yeah, also going to be showing upside momentum as long as dominance is above about 42%. So, it is looking like this one does continue from here, but I would like to actually revise my long-term look in this one. I actually don't think it's going to go as high as what I thought as before. I think it's going to be a little bit less than that. Instead of like upper 50s to low 60s, probably more like mid 50s in this case. Can I be wrong about that? Yeah, absolutely. But I want to see how things operate once they get around that region, because I do think that there's a legitimate possibility for a reversal there. We're already kind of witnessing extremes on here, which leads me to believe that this rally isn't going to be as crazy as what I once thought, nor what a lot of the people think as well. Anyways, just looking at the daily statistics for this, and by the way, I'm actually going to be able to offer up this indicator as well as a suite of other indicators as well that we're working on. I just need to finalize a few things in the background, but should be very, very, very soon. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, something like that, basically. But we can see that as far as the bullish rate for the daily for Bitcoin dominance, pretty much every day except for Friday is 50% or greater. Thursday actually literally at 50%. But for all of the other days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, kind of a little bit above 50%, which still is like just basically better than a coin toss. Funnily enough, or maybe not funnily enough, depending upon your disposition, Saturday is the most likely to be bullish for Bitcoin dominance. So that's when you're most likely to see continuation. And Friday is actually the most likely to see a pullback. And like I did say, in the more near term, this one probably does pull back. But let's combine this analysis now with looking at, do I have it on this chart right here? Yeah, with kind of just revisiting the Ethereum Bitcoin analysis that we put out the other day, as we were looking for a slight continuation to the downside plus a bounce relatively soon. I think that is very close to happening here. We did see a low this week of 5.6 million Satoshis. I do think that, does this one try for a bounce here off of the monthly 55, or does it try a little bit lower, somewhere around the weekly 200 simple, which is just below 5.5 million Satoshis? Again, that's more of a coin toss. I do think it probably does spike a little bit lower, to be honest with you, but very likely does try for a bounce within this region, kind of playing hand in hand with that Bitcoin dominance analysis that we just looked at. So maybe something like this comes. Oh, I guess I already have it in there, but in the more near term, could be a bit bouncy. Probably tries for a bounce here, and then if it's another lower high, send it to the fucking hells. And if it's a reversal and actually trades back above, let's say, well, maybe 6.7 million Satoshis, which seems a little bit unlikely right now, then that'll look pretty damn good actually for the Ethereum Bitcoin BULAs. But for right now, I still do remain long-term bearish on this one with a bounce likely to come relatively soon. But bounce not the same thing as reversal here. Anyways, okay, we've gone through that. We've gone through Bitcoin. I think that we've actually gone through everything that I wanted to get through today. I guess now that we're just here, we might as well look at statistics for the Ethereum Bitcoin daily just to see. I'm actually curious myself what day is most likely. I'd imagine it's probably similar to Bitcoin dominance, and it's It is, as far as Saturday being the worst day, but most days are the worst days, actually. It actually doesn't look too good, just in general, with really only Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday being 50% or best, or better. Everything else below 50%, and Saturday in the 30s, in the upper 30s, that is. So, you know, if we are going to see this one, bounce, maybe Thursday, Friday. If we are going to see this one continue on to the downside, probably Saturday would be most likely right here. Other than that, I was going to do a quick check-in on Dixie and NASDAQ, but it's still kind of doing the same things that we're looking at. So maybe we save that for another day, because it's not super interesting. It's just like, hey, this was like that happened and it's happening, so great. It's like fucking great. That's statistics at the end of the day. Anyways, not guarantees, but probabilities. Yeah, that's what we like, or at least that's what I like. I mean, who the fuck knows what you like? I don't know. Maybe you like this kind of content. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just tune in because you like to watch paint dry and masturbate with sandpaper, which can't blame you. If you're involved in a market like this, probably. I mean, it's most likely. I'm not saying that I don't like it either. It's just, you know, we have to meet each other where we are at. So I think that's where I'll close things out today. Meeting each other where we're at. I'll meet you with the sandpaper. You meet me with the xvideos.com. And I'll sign off on that note. As always, I want to wish you the best. Take care. Much love. And see you hopefully tomorrow, Thursday. The least bullish day, actually.